Last year, a first-time buyer here in the Dayton area lost her dream home because she waited 2 extra days to get pre-approved. Another buyer signed a contract without an inspection to win the deal and ended up with an $11,000 furnace replacement 3 months after closing. If you're planning to buy your first home in Dayton, Ohio, or anywhere in Montgomery, Greene, or Warren County, this video could save you thousands of dollars and a whole lot of stress. I'm going to walk you through the 10 most common, most expensive mistakes first-time buyers make in this market and exactly how to avoid every single one of them. Stick around to the end because mistake number 7 is the one that costs people the most money and almost nobody knows about it going in. So let's get into it. Quick note before we start. Everything in this video applies to you no matter your background, your income level, or what stage of life you're in. Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make, and my job and the goal of this channel is to make sure every buyer has the same access to good information. Okay, mistake number 1, getting pre-qualified instead of a pre-approval. And here's the confusion I see constantly. Buyers think pre-qualified and pre-approved are the same thing. They are not. Pre-qualification is a rough estimate based on numbers you self-report. It takes 10 minutes and it means almost nothing to a seller. Pre-approval means a lender has actually verified your income and your debt and your credit and has told you a real number that you can spend. In a market where good listings in Dayton can get multiple offers in the first week, a seller's agent can tell the difference between those two immediately. If you walk in with only a pre-qualification letter, you're already behind buyers who did the paperwork first. So what's the fix? Get fully pre-approved before you even start touring homes, not after you find the one that you love. It costs you nothing and it can get done usually in one day, but it's the single biggest thing that determines whether you're taken seriously when you make an offer. Mistake number 2, only budgeting for principal and interest. This is the mistake that blindsides people 3 months after they move in. New buyers look at a mortgage calculator, see a monthly payment, and think that's what they're actually going to pay. But your real monthly costs include property taxes, which vary significantly by county and by school district levy. So the same purchase price can mean a very different tax bill depending on where the home sits. Homeowners insurance, PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. If you're putting down less than 20%, you have to pay PMI. HOA fees. I've seen buyers qualify for a payment on paper, then realize their real monthly cost is $200, $300, sometimes $400 higher once the taxes and insurance are factored in. So what's the fix? Before you fall in love with a house, ask your lender for the full monthly payment estimate, taxes and insurance included, not just your principal and interest. Every property you look at should come with that full number attached. Mistake number 3, skipping or waiving the home inspection. I understand why buyers do this. In a competitive offer situation, waiving the inspection can feel like the thing that wins you the house. Here's the problem specific to our area. A large share of the housing stock in and around Dayton was built well before 1980. That means older roofs, older HVAC systems, aging foundations, and in some cases, outdated electrical wiring. None of that is visible on a walkthrough. It only shows up in a proper inspection. And I've personally seen buyers waive inspections to win a bidding war only to discover a major foundation issue or a furnace that is at its end of life within the first year of ownership. Repairs that can cost you 5 figures. Here's the fix. There's a difference between waiving the inspection and waiving the right to negotiate repairs. Talk to your agent about inspection strategies that will still protect you, like an information-only inspection, even in a competitive offer. Never skip the inspection itself just to look more competitive on paper. Mistake number 4, not comparing total cost of ownership by the home age and type. This isn't about which area is better. It's simple math that too many buyers skip. Older homes, which are common in Dayton's more established areas, often come with a lower purchase price, but higher ongoing maintenance and utility costs. Things like older insulation, aging mechanical systems, and single-pane windows. Newer construction, more common in some of the outlying suburbs, often costs more upfront, but less to maintain and to operate month to month. Neither is automatically the right choice. It depends entirely on your budget, your timeline, and how much cash reserve you want to keep on hand for repairs. So what's the fix? When you're comparing the homes, ask for the age of the major systems, the roof, furnace, water heater, electrical panel on every home you're seriously considering, and factor realistic maintenance costs into your total budget, not just the purchase price. Mistake number 5, only talking to one lender. Buyers often go with whichever lender their agent mentions first, or whoever their bank happens to be, without shopping the rate. Mortgage rates and closing costs can vary a lot between lenders for the exact same buyer profile. Over a 30-year loan, even a small difference in the interest rate adds up to thousands of dollars. So, the fix: get quotes from at least 2 or 3 lenders, a mix of local lenders, and maybe some larger banks within the same short window, since multiple mortgage inquiries in a short period are typically counted as a single credit check. Compare the full loan estimate, not just the headline rate. Origination fees, points, and closing costs all matter. Mistake number 6, forgetting to budget for the closing costs. Buyers save diligently for a down payment and then get surprised by closing costs on top of it. In Ohio, closing costs typically run somewhere between 2 and 5% of the purchase price. On a $250,000 home, that can mean $5,000 to $12,000 due at closing, separate from your down payment. So what's the fix? Ask your lender for a closing cost estimate as soon as you're pre-approved, so there are no surprises the week before you close. Some of this can be potentially negotiated as a seller concession, which your agent can help you structure into your offer. Mistake number 7, not planning for property tax reassessments. This is one that almost no one warns buyers about, and it's the one I promised at the top of the video. When a home sells, the sale price can trigger a reassessment of the property's value for tax purposes in the following cycle, depending on the county. That means the property tax bill you see listed at the time of purchase may not be what you actually pay going forward. It can increase based on your purchase price, particularly if the home was previously assessed at a lower value. Montgomery, Greene, and Warren counties each run their own reassessment schedules, so this is very much something to ask about locally, not something to assume based on a national rule of thumb. So what's the fix? Before you close, ask your agent or the county auditor's office what the reassessment process looks like for that specific property, so your long-term budget reflects your realistic future tax bill, not just the current one. Mistake number 8, ignoring down payment assistance programs. A lot of first-time buyers assume they need 20% down. They get discouraged and they either delay buying or they don't look at their options at all. Ohio offers first-time buyer programs, including options through OFA, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, that can provide down payment assistance or more favorable loan terms for buyers who qualify. Eligibility is based on factors like income limits and purchase price limits, not on background or personal characteristics, and these programs are available to any buyer who meets the published criteria. So, before you assume you can't afford to buy, ask your lender specifically what first-time buyer assistance programs you may qualify for. It's a 5-minute conversation that could change your timeline by years. Mistake number 9, making an offer without comps. It's easy to fall in love with the house and want to offer whatever it takes to get it, but an emotional offer without data behind it can mean paying tens of thousands of dollars more than what the home is actually worth. So what's the fix? Before you write an offer, ask your agent to pull recent comparable sales, similar homes, similar size, similar condition, that sold recently, and they're nearby. Let the data set your ceiling, then decide how much of that ceiling you're willing to use based on how much you want the home. Okay, mistake number 10, not using a buyer's agent. Some first-time buyers think working directly with the listing agent saves them money, or they simply don't realize that representation is an option. In most transactions, buyer representation is structured so the buyer doesn't pay the agent directly out of pocket. The specifics of how the agent compensation works can vary, so it's worth asking up front. What you get in exchange is someone whose job is to negotiate on your behalf, not the seller's. So what's your fix here? Interview a buyer's agent before you start touring homes. Ask directly how they're compensated, and make sure you have someone representing your interests specifically, not just showing you houses. That's 10 mistakes that cost first-time home buyers real money here in the Dayton area, and 10 simple fixes that can save you from every one of them. If you're thinking about buying your first home in Dayton, Greene, Warren, Montgomery County, I'd love to help you avoid all 10 of these from day one. So give me a call and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more Dayton area real estate breakdowns. And I'll see you in the next video.